Now, folks, if you do have a question on whatever it may be, we do have a financial aid representative here, and Sonia is wonderful. She has so much information to share with us. And I know that if you have a question, more likely than not, a few other students do as well. So please feel free to, in the chat or unmute yourself.
Thanks, Omar. I see actually Cassandra typed down can you explain what work study is? So there are two types of work study on campus. One is regular campus work study, and the other one is federal work study. So if you have been offered a federal work study fund, you'll notice that it was only on an offered status and that you could not accept it. And that's because there's a process to this, right? So the federal work study funds, they're not actually dispersed towards your account. It's not one of those things that will be applied to your bill. It will be sent to you via a paycheck, right? So the first step that you need to do is to essentially look for a job on campus, get hired by your supervisor, and then your supervisor will then reach out to our office to have them verify your federal work study eligibility, and it'll be our federal work study coordinator that will accept your federal work study on your behalf. Now that's the federal work study process. Usually the pay rate is minimum wage or higher. And for those students who have been offered federal work study, you're not allowed to work for more than 20 hours a week. And that's because we want to make sure, or the feds want to make sure that you're focusing on school. Now, regular work study are funded by the departments who offer those jobs to you. So for those students who, for example, submitted a California DREAM Act application rather than a FAFSA application, if you are still interested in work study, obviously you weren't eligible to receive federal work study funds, but at East Bay, we do offer work study for all students who are on campus.
I noticed a question that some students may not have seen in the chat, and it was also answered there, but regarding daily parking permits on campus. So they do take cash and card, and it's $2 per hour, or for the whole day, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., it is $10. And I see another great question by Cassandra. Will I still qualify for federal work study if I work 12 hours a week at another job?
Yes, sir. Cassandra would be eligible to receive federal work study. As long as the federal work study job does not exceed 20 hours, you're good to go for the week. Okay. Brandon, and any financial aid awards can be found on my CSUEB East Bay. Yes, sir, absolutely. That's where you want to check for your financial aid account.
Reminder, if you'd like to, you can unmute yourself as well. If not, just put in the chat room. Thank you, Shania. Shania just provided the link for the parking permit through the semester. So just a reminder that you do have to buy a parking permit for each semester. So fall, summer, and spring.
Now, I don't know how much information you folks have heard regarding the $500 electronic voucher. Just a quick informal poll. I'd love it if you could either unmute yourself or put in the chat just a quick yes or no, just out of curiosity.
I have.
You have, perfect. And I see Zachary hasn't.
Yeah,
no.
same
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So many students have not. So what we could do is, I see a question and we could address that. It's, can I pay for financial aid every month as I go, or do we have to pay our loan after the school quarter is over? And then I'll go ahead and present some information regarding that voucher.
Okay, so the answer is yes, actually, that'd be a good idea. If you have additional funding, money to pay down your bill, that would be a really good and healthy way to deal with your loans. You are not required for as long as you are enrolled in half-time, that's 6 units for undergraduate students, to go into repayment until you fall below half-time. Either that, you graduate, or you withdraw from the university. But yes, if you have additional funding, I would suggest that you create an account online, a servicer account, right? So when
Um, is Sonia frozen for anyone else?
Yeah, she is. I think she cut out.
Okay, well,
Give her
no
a
problem.
second.
Yeah.
Jacqueline asked, in the intro, I saw something that said we're allowed to park in certain parking lots only. What are those parking lots? So we do have staff, faculty, and student parking. Let me find you the link real quick of a campus map. But if you are going to park on campus, just make sure you do have either the daily pass or the parking permit, just to avoid a ticket. And then let me find you the campus map with the parking lots on it.
I see Sonia I don't see her at the moment, so she may be rejoining us.
sorry, I'm here.
Oh, hi,
I
you're
just
back.
apologize.
No worries at all. We were just like, oh, we'll just give it a minute.
Sorry. Where did I leave off?
Honestly, would you mind repeating the whole the answer one more time?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, it is good practice if you have, extra cash lying around, and you borrowed a loan, to start paying off your loans now that you can. So when you borrow a loan, you are essentially assigned a servicer by the Department of Education. And so what you want to do is actually go to studentaid.gov. Wait until your loans are dispersed. That won't be until 10 days, at least 10 days before the school starts, August 18. So once you see that your loans have dispersed, you want to go to studentaid.gov and find out who your lender is. You want to sign in using your FSA ID. They'll notify you if it's, Navient or Great Lakes or, all of those other servicers. What you want to do is Google them essentially and create an account with your servicer so that you can see what the status is, even though you don't have the cash right now, but you did borrow a loan. It's good to have that in place just so that you can monitor how it looks like. Be good thing for you to start learning about those loans as you go through your classes here at East Bay.
Sonia, we do have a question. It's, how do we use our financial aid towards our tuition balance?
Yes, ma'am. So it all has to do with a disbursement. When we, right now, you might be seeing on your financial aid account, the aid is pending. The aid is pending authorization for when we are allowed to disperse your funds. So financial aid is not allowed to essentially release your funds until we get at least 10 days prior to the school year or the actual start of the term. So once that happens, what we're going to do is essentially release all of those funds, disperse those funds first towards your bill with Student Financial Services. Once that bill is covered, or if that bill is covered and you have more financial aid than that, then Student Financial Services will issue you the difference in the form of a refund, which FYI, sign up for direct deposit, you guys. The snail mail deal with USPS can take a long, long time. So it's best if you get your money as soon as possible, especially if you're waiting for money to cover rent or books and all of that stuff, right?
Thank you, Sonia. Now, I wanted to come back very briefly to that $500 electronic voucher. So I posted the links so you can see the exact details. However, the synopsis regarding the $500 electronic voucher is if you are enrolled in a degree seeking program, so you're seeking either a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, you are eligible to use $500 towards one of 4 computers at the bookstore, and that money does not need to be paid back. So you must be a full-time student, and everybody is eligible, however many students are. And that's a little bit different. That money, one, does not need to be paid back. We have a similar program. Well, it goes by a similar name, and it's a $500 bookstore credit. So that one, you haven't received your financial aid just yet, or you just don't have the money at the beginning of the semester to purchase those books, you're eligible to use this $500 credit to purchase any accessories, any books, textbooks, whatever it may be at the bookstore in one go, and you can use up to $500, and it will need to be paid back in September. So I did go ahead and post both of those links down below so you know about that. And regarding the device voucher towards a computer, that program starts August 13th, and it goes until, let me just go ahead and double check. September 3rd. So it's August 13th to September 3rd. We did have a question regarding what is synchronous classes and asynchronous. So asynchronous, they're done online at your own pace, and there may be recorded lectures involved and independent learning with, reading articles, whatever it may be. However, a synchronous course is one that it's like right now, we are all here and engaging in real time. And I'll go ahead and repost the link that Kayla M posted regarding that. And it just provides a bit further clarification since we also have hybrid classes, and I know it can get a little bit confusing.
Sonia, I know that a lot of students are seeing on their to-do list on their My CSUEB portal, there's a consent agreement form. Do you mind going over that? Because I know a lot of students are worried and concerned that they have to pay something.
Sure. Hey, Nikita, remember in all of these other sessions that I attended with you guys, remember how I kept saying, submit your application, submit your FAFSA application or CADA application ASAP. It doesn't matter if you missed your priority deadline, do it, because just in case, when Sonia gets money, she wants to send it to all of those people as soon as possible. And the priority goes to those students who submitted their FAFSA and CADA on time, right? This is about that. So actually, all of you guys right now who are currently enrolled, fall 2021, right? If by July 19, which is a couple of weeks ago, if you were enrolled at that point on July 19 and you submitted a FAFSA or CADA application that was official, not going through verification, not going through all of that, you're done with it, right? You should have received an email about 5 minutes ago from the financial aid office. Can I get a show of like polls on the chat to see if any of you guys received it on in this chat room? You did? You did? Anyone else? You did it? Okay.
I'm sorry, one more time, received the what?
An email from the financial aid office regarding the American Rescue Plan.
Yeah, I
It's
got
the
that one.
best email I've received all week, all month.
So life lesson, right? Submit your FAFSA, CADA applications every year, even though you don't think that you qualify, because sometimes I get these extra funds and I want to just give it to students as soon as possible, right? So the HERF funds, Higher Education Emergency Relief Funding, was issued to us by the federal government. Essentially, they gave us a bunch of money and to essentially give it to the students who are currently enrolled who may have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm over here looking at you guys. Essentially, you're all online because of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And that's why I'm considering everybody who submitted a FAFSA CADA application by July 19th, who was enrolled in at least one class at East Bay for fall 2021. I have considered them to receive emergency funding. And so you should be receiving, you should have a notification in your email if you qualified, that telling you that you are going to receive this amount of funding based on, your FAFSA CADA application, and that you have three options. And the first one is to do nothing, and you can, well, actually four options: do nothing, right? And you will receive those funds. Essentially, we'll start issuing those funds August 10th. If you don't have direct deposit, that is also another option. Don't get that check and wait, 5 weeks to get it. Sign up for direct deposit so that it can be directly deposited to your account within a couple days of issuing those funds. Or if you have, if you don't have enough financial aid to cover your bill for the fall 21 semester, you can consent to have those funds applied towards your bill for fall 2021. And that is what that consent form is that you also received. You probably received that notice yesterday. Does that make sense?
Correct. And just to clarify, it sounds like if students could potentially use this towards their tuition because it's not covered by their current financial loans and grants and whatnot, they have to go under their to-do list and agree to their consent agreement emergency relief fund. So just meaning that this money can be used towards their tuition, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir. Towards
Thank
their
you.
entire cost of attendance, essentially. So even those students that have additional balances outside of tuition, housing, for example, meal plans and all of that, you can apply those funds towards that as well. Okay, now I haven't forgotten about those who haven't submitted the applications. Okay, so if you did not submit a FAFSA or CADA application and did not receive this notification, there is going to be an application process to receive these HERF fundings that will go live August 18th. So if you were enrolled by July 19th, you should have received that email telling you that there is an application that will go live August 18th.
And we had a question, how would we double check if we did fill out the FAFSA? Would they just check the FAFSA website? Or are there any other ways?
You can definitely check FAFSA or studentaid.gov to see if you've completed it. You should have received a confirmation from the feds saying, congratulations, you submitted your FAFSA application.
Thank you, Sonia. And just another question to clarify. I know we do have some DACA students and AB 540 students, and they typically fill out the CADA. Are they eligible for this funding?
Absolutely. So the American Rescue Plan actually covers not just, undocumented students, dreamers, those students who submitted the California Dream Act application, but also international students. So if there are any international students in here, obviously you didn't submit the CADA or the FAFSA application. That is why we're going to have that application live August 18th so that you can also be considered for that funding.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So if you have not yet submitted your FAFSA and CADA, yes, submit that application once it goes live, but also submit your FAFSA and CADA application, right? I might have more money later to give. Do it anyway, okay?
Now, I wanted to bring this up to students that, yes, we are discussing financial aid. We discussed the vouchers and the bookstore program, but you are also welcome to ask about student life, about maybe you've heard about an app that we have available and you're not too sure on it, or there are other questions, please do feel free to bring those up because we definitely want to get those answered for you. And if you are wondering that, other students are also. And yes, as Kayla mentioned in the chat, if you don't have any questions and you are good to go, you are free to go. This is more so, we're really here for you to answer any questions you may have. And Sonia, I see that a student says that their financial aid is pending, and
Yes, pending.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So you'll see on your financial aid, different types of financial aid components that are either offered or accepted or pending, right? Under the pending, that financial aid is essentially saying that it will be the amount that will be dispersed to your bill once we get closer towards the start of the term. Nothing more is needed. However, those financial aid components, like we noted on the award letter, you guys, they come with requirements, right? So if you are adding and dropping classes, your financial aid can be adjusted. In fact, we adjust weekly up until, and we're going to continue to adjust until September, around mid-September. Okay, so again, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the award letter that we sent to you, because there is where you'll see all of the requirements in as far as enrollment goes. Okay, and then I see that there's another question. If we have enough financial aid to cover our costs, can we decline the consent form and it will be sent to us either as a check or through direct deposit? Correct. You don't need to essentially accept the consent form if you have enough financial aid to cover your costs. And if you don't want that money to be applied to your tuition, that's okay too, right? This is emergency funding to essentially to help you with anything that you have that has been impacted in your life due to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you need it for food, if you need it for health expenses and all of that, use it in that way. Okay. Everyone, when you email, please make sure that you're emailing my team at the financial aid office at finaid@csueastbay.edu. I only say this because I'm only one person, and if I have a lot of emails, I might not get to you. On the other hand, we do have almost a dozen financial aid counselors that are monitoring the emails at this point. So you want to make sure that you're also emailing the financial aid office. Okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, sir.
And I also did want to briefly mention, when you do email finaid@csueastbay.edu, you don't speak with a student. I am a transfer ambassador and I am a student. However, when you are speaking with anyone from the financial aid department, you are speaking with people who are knowledgeable, who do this all the time, and they are not a CSU East Bay student. They are dedicated to the work that they do. So they are very knowledgeable.
So Cassandra, just to clarify, if this is for an advisor at the financial aid office, you can definitely request a Zoom meeting with us. We will assign your request to one of our counselors, and then that counselor will contact you to set up a Zoom meeting. This is also not to say that you can't email me. You should definitely email me. Just CC my team just in case I'm not able to respond earlier soon enough, right?
Sandra, are you trying to meet with an advisor for financial aid or an academic advisor? I think you're trying to meet with one for your psychology degree. So that would be separate. So you can meet with a financial aid advisor. Email the finaid@csueastbay.edu. But for academic advising, I'm going to provide the email. It's going to be f21transfer@csueastbay.edu. And that is for academic advising. So if you haven't registered for classes yet, please in that email, just provide your net ID and your major, and they'll connect you with the correct major advisor, and they'll help you get registered for your classes for the upcoming fall. So we are receiving some questions about student ID. I think Kayla provided the link. We are trying to go digital, so there is an app that we use for our Bay card. It is on Apple and Android. You can download the app and provide your information with your net ID, and that will be your student ID for now. I don't know if they're going to be offering physical ID cards yet, but if someone can clarify, I think the library isn't offering it yet. No, yeah, thanks, Rania. So right now it's just all digital, so I would highly recommend just downloading the app on your phone, filling in your information, and make sure to switch it to SSO for it to work.
I went ahead and inserted the link, so it's on Android, it's on Apple as well. So you can go ahead and download the apps.
Just a reminder, if you don't have any other questions, you are free to go. If you do, unmute yourself, or you can just put it in the chat room.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. Welcome to East Bay.
I see a question. Is there a schedule I can look at for the bus? I'm not too familiar with it, but I know one of my colleagues is, so let's start looking that up. We'll post it shortly. I see Kayla was able to post the link to the BART shuttle schedule. Thank you. I see a question. What time is the campus event on August 17th? So that'll be from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Are there any other questions? You can drop it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. If not, you are free to go. Please make sure to finish your modules on your Blackboard portal before school starts. And welcome to East Bay.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, pioneers. By the way, thank you folks for tuning in. We had so many great questions, and I can't wait to see some of you either in person or on Zoom, whatever it may be. But I'm happy that you were able to make it, and I hope you got a lot out of this session and the last one.
Thanks, Sonia. Appreciate you always.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's my cue, I guess. Have a good one, y'all. Thank you.
Bye, Sonia. Thank you.
And I see Julia, can I RSVP for the August 12th event? And I see Alejandro has posted the link. Yes, so you go to MyBase Sync, you click under events, and then you'll be able to see the open hours that we have by O Team starting August 2nd. And if you scroll a little bit down, you'll see that event is actually orientation at Housing Move-In. So that'll be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And you can click right there, select the date that best fits you, the 12th, 13th, or 14th. And I hope we get to see you there. All right, folks, with that being said, we know Zoom fatigue is real. So if you have no more questions, we thank you for joining, and do know that we have office hours Monday and Tuesdays hosted by the transfer department. And I'll go ahead and post a link just in case you didn't get any questions answered.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.